Hi everyone, I'm Pat Prokop out in the heavenly backyard garden, and tonight I want to show you two different systems that I'll be shooting at the same time, two different rigs. I have the Orion Eon right over here. That's a 130 millimeter refractor telescope, and over here, way out in that distance over there, is the Orion ED80, an 80 millimeter telescope, kind of like the little brother of the big Eon over here. And what I'm going to be using these scopes for is the targets will be with the Eon, the M82 Galaxy, commonly known as the Cigar Galaxy, and it looks to me more like the Exploding Cigar Galaxy. We're going to take a look at that, and also the Hamburger Galaxy up in the trio in Leo. And then with the little ED80, I'm going to be looking at the double star cluster up in Perseus. So join me for the ride for tonight. Welcome to Heavenly Backyard Astronomy. Now, with the Eon telescope, this is a 130 millimeter refractor triplet. I'm going to be using the Player One Poseidon M. It's a monochrome camera and a fantastic camera, and I have a new filter wheel, a 7-position filter wheel associated with this. And on this I have the RGB and a luminance filter from the Botter filters, and also the Agnea narrowband filters, the hydrogen alpha, the sulfur 2, and the oxygen 3. And my goal is to get M82 with the RGB and the H alpha. And the reason I want the H alpha is to bring out that red color that's coming out of the center of the galaxy, part of the new star birth area. And it's really interesting to look at. And then also, when that sets behind the trees, I'm going to be looking over at the Hamburger Galaxy using the same system here. I want to see if I can get that trailing of what looks like a gaseous trail flowing behind the galaxy itself. So I'll be shooting that as well. So as I go over to the ED80 telescope, take this moment to hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already subscribed, if you would like to. And if you have any comments, leave your comments below and hit the like button as well. Let's go over to the ED80. So with the ED80, this is a triplet refractor telescope, one of my favorite scopes. It does a fantastic job. I'm going to be using the ZWO ASI 071 one-shot color camera, and I have the reducer already attached to this system here. And my old filter wheel, I have attached the Optolong L series of filters that I have. I have the Pro, the Quad, the Ultimate, and the Enhanced filters. And I also have a blank spot there with no filters whatsoever. So I'll be comparing the double star cluster in Perseus with the L Pro and the L Enhanced. And then I'm also going to show the difference of the different filters with the Horsehead Nebula that I shot the other night with all the filters and no filters whatsoever. But first, let's take a look at how I set things up in Nina to capture all these images. All right, let's put the sequence together right from the get-go. And tonight I'm going to try this double cluster up in Perseus, the double cluster there, NGC 868. Is that right? 869. Okay. And first thing I want to do is I want to add target to the sequence, and I'm going to use the advanced sequencer down here, and I'm going to put it into Pat's one-shot color. Okay, and it'll go there automatically. It puts it in there. See, there it is right there. There's the target right now. And everything is all set so far. But first, before I start anything, I want to start the start triggers. So I'm going to go over here into templates, and I have Pat's start menu right here. I'm just going to click it and drag it and drop it. And I have it set up to unpark the scope, cool the camera if it's already been cooled. I'll turn the dew heater on and then start robocopy. That's going to take the files from this computer, which is outside in the garden at the telescope, and it's going to take the files, each image, and it's going to drop them into the files on my desktop computer, which I'm recording on right now. And that'll be done automatically throughout the night, so that's really nice. Every file that comes in, it transfers it immediately over, and it saves it on both computers for the time being, and then I can delete it off the outside computer if I want. Outside computers, usually the mini computers don't have a very large disk, so that's very helpful. Okay, and then there's the situation right here. I'm going to wait until the loop while the altitude is above horizon, okay, and the horizon over here comes into play at 1:18 in the morning. It goes behind the trees over there. So it's going to loop until it gets to that point, and then it's just going to stop looping and do the next set of sequence, whatever that might be. Now, let's use the, since we're doing a double star cluster, not a nebula, let's use the either the Pro or the Quad filter. The Optolong Pro is good. I do have a somewhat large moon out there. It's about 70% illuminated right now. And I'm not going to worry about these other filters right at the moment, so I'm just going to delete them, and I'll be good at that. So we got the Pro filter, and it doesn't matter the number of images I put in here, because it's just going to keep looping until it gets to that time set. And so it's going to dither every 3 frames. I got the gain set at 100. The moon's kind of bright. I'm going to take it down to 120 seconds. All right. Now the next thing I want to do, be sure before it's finished, I want to put a stop sequence in there. And so go back into the sequence, and it's right here, Pat's End menu. And I'm just going to drag it and drop it over into the sequence end area. And so when this sequence is done, unless I put another sequence in here, it's going to go to this phase over here. It's going to stop guiding. It's going to stop robocopy. It's going to wait for 2 minutes, make sure everything is copied over. It's going to warm the camera, and then it's going to park the scope. So we're set to go. All right. So let's just first of all make sure I'm in focus. I think I am, but we'll take a look at it anyway. Let's put the filter on Pro just for fun. Change it. There's the filter exchange right here. It's changing the filter, and it's now on the Pro. Let's take a little 2-second quick peek at the sky. It should be pointing at the North Star right now. And there it is. There's Polaris right there. It looks pretty much in focus. Okay. And the camera is already down to -10. It didn't take long. Temperature outside at the moment is, well, it's at -1 Celsius, 30 degrees Fahrenheit. All right. I got to drip my pipes. Next is turn this off, go back into the sequencer, and just hit go. Let's do it. Now, the next thing, see, robocopy is starting its process. All right, it's starting to copy the files. There's nothing in there right now, but it's going to copy the files over. It's looking, keeping an eye on those files. Let's take a look at the guide scope for the moment. There you can see it's slewing to the target on the way over. It's getting close. It's somewhere near the, I can already see it on the guide scope. There's the double cluster right there. Now I got the reducer on the camera right now. This is the ED80 80 millimeter telescope refractor, and the reducer takes the focal length from 480 down to 400 millimeters. So it goes from an f6 down to an f4.8. So that's going to be really nice. It's going to be a wide field of view. You can see it's centering the target right now. Let's go over here into Nina, take a look at the bigger picture. And I'll just pull this out of the way. It's going to move this over a little bit. It did. Okay. Now it's autofocusing. It's going to do the autofocus routine. And I should get a nice, hopefully a nice curve going on over here. We'll just wait and see. So I'm just going to put it into fast mode right now, and come back when this is done autofocusing. All right, the autofocusing is done. Now I'm going into the guider, and it's going to start guiding momentarily. You can see already a little bit of a haze due to that nearly full moon out there. The filters that I'm using are good for nebulosity, not so much for stars. That's why I'm using the Pro. The Pro and the Quad seem to do a better job with stars and galaxies, where the Enhance and the Ultimate and the Extreme, I don't have the Extreme, but I have the Ultimate and the Enhance. They're really good. Those filters are really good for nebulosity, but they really knock out the starlight. So I'm putting it on the Pro here. I might schedule to put in the Enhance to see what happens with the stars. It might knock out some of this glow here because it filters out more of that. As a matter of fact, we can do that while it's starting to collect its data. I'm going to have to up the speed or the time involved too. Let's just do that. go into the sequencer, click on these little three dots, the menu, and over here click on copy, and it copies this instruction above it and puts it below. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the filter to the enhance, and I'm going to increase the gain because it's going to cut down a lot of light. So I'm going to increase the, not the gain, but the time. I'm going to increase that to 5 minutes. Let's see what happens here. 300 seconds. Okay. Okay. And again, after these two expressions are done, it doesn't mean it's going to stop. It's just going to keep looping this until it reaches the horizon, actually the trees off to the west. All right, let's go back and look at the picture. There's the first image right there. That looks pretty good, really. That's telescope number 3. That's the little ED 80 millimeter. Let's go to telescope number 2. That's the Eon 130 millimeter. I'm going to open up that on my desktop remote connection. That's going to be telescope number 2. I'm going to connect it. It's going to pop up over here. I want to get this galaxy right here, M82. And so let's add that sequence, add that target to the sequencer. I'm going to go Pat's narrowband. And it goes in automatically. There it all is. I got to connect all my equipment. My equipment's not connected. Let's connect the equipment. We're all connected. Again, just like the other sequencer, the next thing we're going to do is go to the templates. I'm going to go to Pat's start menu right here. I'm going to drop it up here in the start menu area. Now it's all ready to go. It's going to go to the same thing with the robocopy. Instead of telescope 3, I'm going to use telescope 1, and or actually telescope 2. I have 3 telescopes I can choose from, 1, 2, and 3. So it saved that on the big 10 terabyte disk drive, so I got plenty of space there. All right, that's ready to go. There's the one I'll be taking shortly. Yeah, there's the Hamburger. Okay, let's add that to the sequence. Sequencer. Pat's narrowband. That's actually the one filter, the monochrome camera. I should have renamed that to monochrome camera. All right, so this is ready to go. I want to do the same thing which I did up above. I'm going to use RGB. Okay, and I'm going to add 1H alpha to it. Right there. All right. And the H alpha is going to go 300 seconds, but for the other ones, since they're RGB, I'm going to go 120. Since a lot more light comes in, I don't want to overbloat the stars. I got half-hour images, and it's just going to loop and loop and loop until it meets this condition here, astronomical dawn. I could set other instructions on here until nautical dawn, astronomical dawn, sunrise, until it reaches the meridian, whatever. But astronomical dawn will be good. All right. All right. So we're good to go here. So that's the setup in Nina and how I recorded the information and the data. Now let's go over into Pixinsight and look at this data, and particularly look at this new feature in Pixinsight in the scripts called the toolbox. And in the toolbox, there's some really neat things going on that's available. And one of them is, of course, is graphics. You can do that. Gradient Expert, if you want, it's available in there. And another thing that's in the new toolbox is the adding H alpha to an RGB image. We're going to do that. Let's take a look. All right, let's go into Pixinsight and take a look at some of the images. First of all, M82, because that's the one I was really focusing on. There's the red, and I cropped it down just to get the two, M82 and M81. This is the red filter, this is the green filter, and this is the blue filter right over here. And I already registered these images, and I also linear fit them as well. And I added the HA, and I darkened the HA just a little bit, the background, but I'm more interested in getting this red color here and the red stars over here in M81. But I'm more concerned about this flare over here in M82. So after putting this all together, let's go back. And what I did is I, first of all, I merged them together. So RGB combination right here. And I took the M82 red and M82 green, registered. Okay. And the M82 in the blue, right there. All right, there it is, red, green, and blue. Let's hit the enter here, and let's stretch it. And there's the combination in RGB. So that's what I ended up with in RGB, which is not bad at all. But there's a new function that's available in the Pixinsight TOOLBOX. So let's go over into that. And it's right over here into, I'm looking through the microphone, scripts, let's see, toolbox right here. And look at all the new combinations. You got audio linear fit, which I played with. I kind of like doing the linear fit manually, but it's there. Combined HA with an RGB image. That's what we're going to do. But just quickly, some of the other things, combine images, combine RGB and narrowband. That's interesting. I'm going to play with that in a couple of nights. These others and so forth, Gradient Expert or Grexpert or Greatspert, that's available now if you have it loaded into your system, and other tools in the toolbox. So let's go to combination or combine HA with RGB, and we're going to do that right now. And the first thing I got to do is open up the RGB image, and it is called image, I believe it's 110, the one I just did. There it is right there. And then we want to do the RG or the HA, which is, again, I'm looking through my microphone here. It's registered 1 here, HA registered 1. There it is right there. All right. It's going to put those together, and this is the default mode right here. And already you can see it didn't take too much of a time. You can see a little bit more of the red flare over here and some of the red stars, but in this particular example, and it's also in the linear phase, I did not do an histogram transformation. This works better, in my opinion, through experience. It works better when it's in linear phase and not changed to nonlinear. So let's go into the amount, and I found out right around 6 or 7. In this example, it did a much better job. And you can see it doesn't take too long. There's the flare right there. Let's just take it up for fun. Let's just take it up to 8. It's easier just to type it in and then hit enter. And there you can see it's going over here. And there's the final image. Now, to get the final image, this is a preview here. Just click on the green check and let it rip. And it's going to do this whole thing here. There you go. And there's the quick and dirty process of adding the HA data to the RGB data. So let's just minimize this for now and look at some of the examples I finished with this this morning from the couple of nights before. And I showed you the RGB. Let's look at the image with the RGB in itself, and then the image with the, where'd it go? Right here. There it is. All right. I played around a little bit with the color curves and so forth in here, but I'm more concerned about this area right here in the galaxy, the M82 galaxy, the so-called cigar galaxy. And when you look at it like this right here, it kind of does look like a cigar. The galaxy is, on its side. We're looking at it on its side, and looking at the same image. This is the RGB. Let's look at the RGB and the HA added to it, and there you can see a big difference. You can see that big flare of this ionization going on from the gravitational effect from M81, which is not too far away from M82. And in this area here, what I understand is there's a tremendous amount of new star birth going on. But you don't see it in just the regular RGB, but when you add the H alpha, you can certainly see it there. So that's just an example of that. I did another one, a quick view of the Orion Nebula, some very short exposures, and then I added them up into RGB. There's the RGB image, and I blew out the core, I know, but that's not too bad of an image. And let's add the HA to it and see what happens. Yeah, you got a lot more reds, as you would expect. And the Running Man shows up a little bit more purple in there, you might expect, because of the red hydrogen alpha light coming in. So there's the... which one you like better? This one has a little bit more blue in it, obviously, but this has a lot of red. Anyway, that's kind of a fun thing to do. I was shooting the double cluster in Perseus, and this is the double cluster using the Pro filter, the Optolong Pro filter. And when shooting galaxies and shooting star clusters and globular clusters, the Pro works out very good, and the Enhance, well, it works better, I think, with Nebula. And let's take a look. There's the Enhance, Optolong Enhance. You can see much more stars shining up or showing up in the Pro version. And I'm going to show you the combination of the Ultimate and the Quad Optolong's filters in a moment. But let's take a look at the here. There. You can see the difference. The L Enhance does filter out more of the starlight, so the stars are a little bit tighter, where the L Pro is a little bit more bright, and also the stars are a little bit bigger. I don't want to say bloated. I also ran BlurXterminator on these and Noise Exterminator on all these images, which if you don't have on Pixinsight, you really need to get the Russell Croman's RC Astro BlurXterminator, Star Exterminator, and Noise Exterminator. I mean, they cost a little bit, but they're darn well worth it, as they say. Go back there. Let's go to the horse. Now, this is the Horsehead Nebula taken with no filters whatsoever, again, through the ED80 telescope with the 0.8x reducer on there. So the focal length went down from 480 to 400 millimeters, or f6 down to f4.8. And it's not a bad picture, as you can see right here. You don't see much of a halo around there. I mean, this is that bright star Almanac that's part of the belt of the Orion, the nebula. There's another part of the belt just showing up on the tip over there. This is the star here that's, I think it's Orion Sigma. That's illuminating, the radiation from this is illuminating the nebulosity for the Horsehead and for the Flame Nebula. Well, let's look at the Pro filter, which is usually pretty good for galaxies and clusters and globular clusters. Not so much for nebulosity with the bright stars in the foreground. But you can see it brought out the nebulosity a little bit more than with no filter whatsoever, as you can see right here. So yeah, that helped a little bit. All right, let's go. Basically my favorite, the Optolong L Enhance filter, and that's nice. Shows up very nice. It cut down on the star flaring and so forth. Again, I don't see any halos. I just see star flaring with these. Well, there's a little bit of a halo right here, I suppose, on this star Sigma Orionis. But yeah, look at the nebulosity again. Much better. All right, let's look at the Quad. The Quad, again, I think that's pretty good for galaxies. Again, it shows the brightness of the stars and so forth. But now the Sigma Orionis, it flares out, but there's no halo. If there's a halo, I can't see it. I mean, it just smooths it out nicely. So that L Quad is pretty good too. And then the other one was the L Ultimate. I don't have the Extreme, but I do have the Ultimate, which is pretty ultimate. And there it is right there. And it filters out a lot of the stars in themselves, and pinpoint stars, and very little halo action associated with it. Well, there's a bit of a halo right there on Cygnus Orionis, but it really brings out the nebulosity. You got to admit that. But in the process, it does eliminate a lot of the stars. And once again, just like all the other images, I ran BlurXterminator, Noise Exterminator, and then I did Star X to remove the stars to enhance the nebulosity, and I put the stars back in. And then just for fun, I did this one here. This is a combination of all the filters. I've added them all together, and I think I did this in Pixinsight just by adding them all together. and came up with that little image there. That's not too bad, you know. For, you know, a little 80 millimeter telescope. The 8080 is a nice little scope, and yeah, I don't see any halos there on all of the Optolong filters. Well, one with no filter whatsoever. But let's take a look at that one. What last time the image with no filter whatsoever, and well, the telescope itself and the camera that I used helped a lot in reducing the flaring and the halos around these stars themselves. So yeah, I'm very pleased about this. And finally, here's the Hamburger galaxy that I took with the Eon 130 millimeter refractor. And as you can see, it came out pretty good, but I need a little bit more information on this, more data, more collection. And I want to try it also with the 11-inch at f7, the Celestron 11-inch HD telescope. So that's going to be coming up in the next few nights, hopefully when the sky clears off.
Well, I'm excited about the M82 and the Hamburger Galaxy views from the Orion Eon. However, I want to try it with the Celestron 11-inch HD. The native focal length on the 11-inch is 2800 millimeters, but I'm going to put the 0.7x reducer on that, and that'll take the focal length down to around a little under 1900 millimeters. And that's still going to give me a nice tight view of the galaxies. And I want to get that red flare. So I'm going to be taking in RGB with the Poseidon camera and also with the HA to get that red color coming out of the center of the galaxy. And hopefully I'm going to get that trail, that's my goal, of the Hamburger Nebula with this telescope here. So, you know, if you like my video, please hit the like button. And if you have any comments, please leave your comments below. And if you would like to support my channel, there's more ways than one you can do that. If you would like, you can always buy me a coffee. There's the link right there, buy me a coffee. And it's only $2 a cup. If you would like, you could join my channel, my YouTube channel, or you could join my Patreon page. It's only like $1 or $2 a month if you want to. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the video and I hope you learn something out of it. I always learn more when I make these videos and when I watch your videos as well, those who make the videos, all the YouTubers out there. Anyway, remember, the heavens are just filled with majestic wonders, and they're all in a sky near you. So unless you need rain, and I think some of you really don't want any rain right now, but unless you need rain, clear skies, everyone.